If I have to name names, I will say Baggio, Baresi, Maldini, Rivera, of those I remember from my playing days, and I would add Andrea Pirlo to that list.
Born in the northwest Italian province of Brescia in 1979, Andrea Pirlo joined local side Brescia Calcio as a youth player. Such was his ability, he was in the first team squad by his mid-teens.
I was 16 years and 2 days old. It was the match against Reggiana, and to make my debut at such a young age was a great feeling.
Although something of a prodigy in those early days, the youngster struggled to consistently show his talent. A transfer to Inter Milan came in 1998 with Pirlo still in his teens, but life at the San Siro did not run smoothly.
I had him at Inter when he was an attacking midfielder. But he wasn't very quick. He wasn't a game changer.
So he started going off on loan everywhere, and it was the same story every time. He'd go on loan, he went to Regina, he went back to Brescia, and he was fantastic on loan.
I was ambitious. It wasn't enough for me to just sit on the bench, playing every now and again. So the idea was to move.
Pirlo spent the 1999-2000 season on loan at Regina, where he helped the club to a mid-table finish in Serie A, before leading his country at that summer's UEFA Under-21 tournament.
At that age, the most important thing you can do is to play in a European Championship with the Under-21 national team.
That side was a throwback to what people imagine Italian football, I think, to generally have been. It's a very solid defensive side that generally relied on Pirlo to shine the light.
As captain, Pirlo's influence increased throughout the tournament as his creativity helped the young Azzurri to the final, where they met the Czech Republic. It was to be an early example of Pirlo's big game temperament.
It was a great adventure, a good European Championship with the Under-21s, and we won the final, with 2 goals scored by me, one from the penalty spot and one from a free kick.
That was very much a team built around Pirlo, and that's what got people excited and saying like, whoa, he can do this for Inter Milan. And maybe if Inter Milan had been a more normal club, more settled club at the time, maybe he could have, but unfortunately it wasn't.
Despite being top scorer and having been named player of the tournament in Slovakia, Pirlo's renewed confidence was derailed by the volatile nature of Inter. Once again, he was on the move. This time, though, he crossed the city divide to join fierce rivals AC Milan. It was a move that also led to a permanent change of role.
We changed his position. Originally, he was an attacking midfielder, and I moved him further back, where he had more options and space in which to play.
He played with class. He could strike the ball well, and he could control the play. He had a special gift with the ball, and you just have to applaud players like that.
He loved playing that role, and in the end, did very well there. Ultimately, he became the key to the whole team.
He could retain the ball even when he was marked. At the beginning, they weren't passing to him, which upset him. Give me the ball, but you've got a man on you. I don't care. Give me the ball.
He was very important. As I said, the key was to have lots of quality players. Pirlo, Seedorf, Kaká. Then we had Rui Costa, as well as the 2 strikers. It had become a team with lots of quality in attack, and Pirlo was the playmaker.
Pirlo was a player who had the ability to manipulate the ball. He was able to pass it to whoever he wanted.
His transition from attacking number 10 to deep-lying playmaker was seamless, as he helped the club to secure a Champions League place in his first season.
My first Champions League was the most exciting one. We started in the qualifying rounds, which was the beginning of a long journey. We played a semi-final against Inter in 2 legs over a week. A derby, and that was very hard for the whole city as there were huge expectations. And then the final against Juventus, an all-Italian final that ended with our victory in a penalty shootout.
The following season, Pirlo helped Milan to a UEFA Super Cup triumph. Andrei Shevchenko's 10th-minute header enough to see off UEFA Cup winners Porto. 9 months later, and Pirlo had also claimed his first Serie A winners' medal, contributing 6 goals along the way. 2 years on from Milan's Champions League success, the club again made steady progress in the competition, with Pirlo once more a key figure. But in the final against Liverpool, things did not go according to plan.
Regrettably, the 2005 final is a very bad memory. We were winning 3-0 against Liverpool at half-time. And then in 8 minutes, we conceded 3 goals. Before losing the penalty shootout.
That result brought misery to everyone. But it's also true we played very well that night, and maybe we didn't deserve to lose. But I actually believe that's why we managed to get over that result, because we had played so well.
This was an ugly chapter in my career. But it's all in the past now, and these things happen. It's a pity, because we were a great team, and we had all that was needed to win the Champions League.
At international level, Italy had gone almost a quarter of a century since winning their last FIFA World Cup. And they arrived in Germany for the 2006 tournament with Pirlo a key man in Marcello Lippi's star-studded squad.
In that World Cup, perhaps we were the last national team with so many world-class players. There we had Buffon, Pirlo, Totti, Del Piero and Cannavaro.
That was a fantastic World Cup, which started with my goal in the opening match against Ghana.
I remember we'd hit the crossbar and created chances. Then Pirlo received the ball from a corner and scored a great goal. Thanks to Gilardino, who bent down letting the ball go over his head before it ended up in the bottom corner. I remember him jumping up, celebrating with joy, and also relief after a very tense period.
Pirlo was instrumental as the Azzurri made steady progress through to the tournament's last 4. The semi-final saw the meeting of 2 old foes as Italy came up against the host nation, Germany. In a crackling atmosphere, Pirlo's coolness once again came to the fore.
You think back to that semi-final against the eternal rivals, the Germans, and you think of that reverse path into the path of Fabio Grosso, and you just kind of have to look at it and just stare and say, wow.
It's one of his qualities. A lot of the time he passes the ball without looking, but he's always in control of the situation. Sometimes when his teammates are expecting a pass from him, they get upset because he's not looking at them.
A 2-0 win meant the Italians could look forward to their 6th World Cup final. 5 days on from their semi-final success, Italy met 1998 champions France in the 2006 World Cup final. Zinedine Zidane gave the French a first-half lead with an audacious penalty, before Marco Materazzi nodded in Pirlo's corner to level as Italy took charge.
In that final, everybody played well, and it was a balanced performance. In the second half, we struggled a bit, so I changed things and moved Pirlo further forward. And we took control of the game until the end. Someone said we benefited from Zidane's headbutt, but that happened with only 5 minutes remaining in extra time, when both teams were already waiting for the penalty shootout. As for the penalties, my opinion is that the best penalty taker should take the first kick. Some prefer to keep him for the last one, but I think he should take the first or the second one. If you score the first 2 goals and the opponents miss one, you've got a psychological edge. Whenever I'm involved in a penalty shootout, I always pick Pirlo first.
Pirlo's coolly taken penalty set the tone for the Italians, and successful efforts from Materazzi, De Rossi and Del Piero followed. David Trezeguet's miss for the French meant that victory was within reach.
I looked around. I didn't know who to pick, but then I had an idea. Grosso, you take the fifth. You're the man for the last minute. You won a penalty in the 94th minute against Australia. You scored against Germany in the 120th minute. So you take the last penalty. Okay, I'll take it, he said. When it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Andrea Pirlo's influence on the game's biggest stage was recognised when he was named man of the match for the final, as he had been for the semi-final. Italy's 4th world title meant that he had also achieved a lifelong ambition.
I think that winning the World Cup is the most beautiful and important thing for a football player. From being a kid, you dream of playing in a World Cup, and hopefully of winning it. And I have been fortunate enough to do that, and I'm very proud of it. It was the most intense emotion of my life, and it will stay with me forever.
Named in the World Cup team of the tournament, Pirlo also ended with more assists and man of the match awards than anyone else. Yet he remained as hungry as ever.
Pirlo loves playing, and always plays in the right way. He just loves football, so it's not difficult to motivate him. He's always ready. He just loves football, so it's not difficult to motivate him. He's always ready.
This focus and desire was never more evident than in the 2006-2007 season, as Milan embarked on another European campaign. Pirlo, once again inspirational, as they reached yet another Champions League final.
After 2 years, we once again found ourselves playing Liverpool in a Champions League final. And this time, we took back what we'd lost in 2005.
Milan were crowned European champions for a 7th time, with Pirlo controlling things in a 2-1 victory in Athens.
We won that final because we saw it as revenge. We were very happy to play against Liverpool again, because we all thought it was our destiny.
Milan then added the World Club Cup to their haul by beating Boca Juniors of Argentina in the final. By now, Andrea Pirlo had won the game's biggest trophies and was widely lauded as one of football's most gifted playmakers.
Typically with great midfielders like him, if you try to double mark or get too close to him, they just play the ball with one touch, making your efforts pointless, or leaving your team with a man less.
His speed of thought, his positioning, he was always in space. He always had the ball at his feet and knew where it should be played.
He played the game simply and had almost a special relationship with the ball. He was able to place it in any area of the pitch that he wanted.
If you give them space, great players have time to stop the ball and look around. They're very smart, always aware of what's happening behind their back. When he's fit, you can't stop Pirlo.
He always played the correct ball. He was outstanding.
And it was not just in open play where Pirlo bewitched the opposition.
On one hand, a free kick is like the ugly brother of a penalty. On the other, as a piece of technical skill, it gives much more satisfaction than a penalty kick. What does that mean? Well, both have to be practiced a lot. But a free kick is the real piece of technical skill, whereas a penalty has an emotional side attached to it.
A lot is due to Mother Nature, and I'm thankful to my parents for making things possible. But you have to practice. You have to try and try again. Otherwise, you're not going to improve.
He practiced free kicks all the time. From that point of view, he was always very professional.
He practiced a lot and became famous for his technique. Because he managed to strike the ball not with the toes, but with the lower part of the top of his foot, the trajectory of the ball could rapidly rise and then dip.
Pirlo celebrated 10 years at Milan by adding another Serie A title in 2011. But it was his final contribution to the Rossoneri cause. Controversially allowed to leave the San Siro on a free transfer, the man the Milanese called the metronome headed 150 kilometres east to Turin.
I played for 10 years at Milan, and when you stay with the same club for so long, you need new targets, new motivations.
I don't think Milan realised how useful Pirlo still was. He proved so much by doing so well at Juventus. And I think then, Milan was sorry they had let him go.
I've known Andrea for a long time. We played together when we were very young for the Italian national under-15 squad. When he said he wanted to join Juve, it seemed like an amazing stroke of luck for us. He was looking for a new challenge, and also he wanted the chance to be a leader once again. And that's how it turned out.
I decided to join Juve because I knew that they had a new team, a team that wanted to get back to winning ways after a few years without success.
I don't think we could have found a player like him anywhere else in the world. Probably only Xavi matched his qualities, although he didn't have the same shooting skills as Andrea.
Pirlo proved to be the catalyst in a young, hungry Juventus team. His debut season at the club saw them become the first Italian side to go an entire 38-game league campaign undefeated, as they claimed their first league title for 9 years. That summer, Pirlo was again integral to Italian chances as they made progress at the European Championships in Poland and Ukraine. However, a 4-0 dismantling at the hands of world champion Spain in the final left a bitter taste. Despite this defeat, Pirlo's quarter-final masterclass against England will live long in the memory, not least because of his contribution to the penalty shootout.
We were in the penalty shootout and trailing, because we had already missed one penalty. So I went up to the spot, and without thinking, and having seen that the keeper was already moving, I decided at the last minute to chip it.
1 year later, a Confederations Cup tie with Mexico saw Andrea Pirlo become only the 5th player to reach 100 caps for the Azzurri. Typically, he made his own mark on the occasion with a trademark free kick. Back with Juventus, Pirlo's experience and know-how ensured the club regained their place among European football's elite as the Bianconeri romped to 3 successive titles. His last season in Italy saw him reach another Champions League final. This time, though, Pirlo couldn't hide his disappointment as he and his teammates were beaten in an end-to-end match by the brilliance of Barcelona in Berlin.
I become emotional if I fail to reach the targets that I set myself. Defeats like that hurt me. I get upset, as it means I've failed to achieve everything that I would have liked, despite the fact my commitment and desire were unwavering.
In 2015, at the age of 36, Pirlo finally left Italian football and took his own brand of genius to America's MLS. The sublime vision and technique consistently displayed for Italy, Milan and Juventus ensure he will long be remembered as l'architetto, the architect.
Pirlo was unstoppable. For me, a world-class player is someone who, thanks to his qualities on and off the pitch, makes a difference to his team winning.
It was so easy playing with Pirlo, and everyone else who's ever played with him thinks the same. He's in a class of his own.
A phenomenon. I think Pirlo is phenomenal. A very intelligent player who has an amazing vision of the game. You could give him the ball and run off him, and he would already know where you were without even looking. A very smart player.
I would like to be remembered as a player who made his mark in Italy and in Europe. A unique player who is a great sportsman. A special player.